What is going on, Niner fans? We have the roster coming up on Tuesday. The Niners have to get their rosters in by Tuesday. Was it 4 p.m. Eastern, which is 1 p.m. Pacific? Yeah, rosters will be cut to 53 players by 4 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. We're going to do a little roster projection. I think it's pretty simple. Obviously, there's going to be a few players that might get left off the list, and I think the Niners are going to try to bring it back to the practice squad. That may be a little surprising. We'll get to it. Running back, wide receiver, who's going to be wide receiver. There's a lot of issues going on there. And cornerback, I feel like it's going to be relatively thin, but we'll get into it. How's everybody doing? The 49ers are now in regular season mode, baby. Julius Calloway say, what's up, Raj? Christine, what's up? Happy Sunday, Peter Parker. Danny, I'm going to pass. How much do you want to bet Jeff Wilson makes the roster, says Nav? We might have to bet because I might have left him off of my roster projection. And I'll explain why. We're going to talk about it. That was one of the hardest projections I had to make on this 53-man roster. And to me, it just wasn't that difficult this year. But how's it going? I'm doing well, Renee. I hope you are too. Danny, that's Cap. Not expecting my second game. Who do you think won't make it? List your players. We're going to do that. 2 more weeks till game day. Let's get right to it. Let's get to the quarterbacks. Easy, muddy. Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. 49ers are going to have 2 quarterbacks to make the roster. It's going to be Brock, Mac Jones. Carter Bradley maybe goes to the practice squad. He's one of the coach's son. They'll keep the Nepo baby on the practice squad, possibly, or they'll just call him up. But, when he's doing chores at the house and doing laundry, Bradley's going to call his son Carter. Yo, his son, you want to come play this weekend on the Niners if they get an injury? And he'll be on the practice squad, probably. Curtis Rourke, he probably won't count against the roster. He could be on the NFI list, non-football injury list. You get an injury not during the football-related activities with the team, off the field, whatever. He had his ACL last year in college, and he's recovering from the surgery. So Curtis Rourke, redshirt year for him. I don't think Tanner Mordecai makes practice squad. I think they'll choose Carter Bradley over Mordecai because he's the Nepo, premium Nepo, baby. Actually, yesterday, that touchdown to Tariq Owens, it was the Nepo connection. Actually, someone in the comments said it, and I fucking cracked up because it was Carter Bradley, the son of Gus Bradley, and then he throws it to Tariq Owens, the son of Terrell Owens. It was the Nepo to Nepo all-star connection. I didn't even realize that because I was so hyped in the moment of Tariq scoring. And that I was like, oh, this is Carter Bradley. I threw it to him. Anyways, those are the 2 quarterbacks that are making the roster. Just go for 2 every touchdown. We'll talk about Jake Moody as we get there. Robbie Chosen. Knob says, I want Robbie Chosen to make the roster. I do too, but I think they're going to try to throw him on practice squad. We'll get to wide receivers. Hey, Peter Parker says, no Tanner. Larry just fell to his knees at Pig in a Pickle. He fell to his knees at Pig in a Pickle. He's probably pissed. He's probably pissed if I said that. It's not going to make it. Tanner Mordecai, they cut this man, bring him back, cut this man. At the end of the day, they got him on speed dial. If they need Tanner Mordecai, they could bring him back. But I think they'll keep Carter Bradley on the practice squad because of his dad, man. It's kind of crazy. He's that Nepo baby. Running backs, I think you go 5. Here's where we go. Christian McCaffrey, obviously. Isaac Orendo. He's going to be, 3rd running back because Brian Robinson Jr., the trade was official today, and Kyle Shanahan said he is your running back too. I mean, he said it firmly. A guy's a beast. He's going to take a lot of pressure off of Christian McCaffrey. If Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, Brian Robinson to the moon. But let's hope Christian McCaffrey doesn't get hurt. He looks amazing. It's going to be a nasty 1-2 punch. And then if you throw in Garendo here and there on passing plays and, some screens in the screen plays in the flats, et cetera, et cetera. Garendo's a good player, but he's not a complete running back, but he makes the roster for sure. This is where it gets tricky. Okay, obviously Kyle Juszczyk makes the roster because he's a fullback, great blocker. We all know about Kyle Juszczyk. Patrick Taylor, obviously injured reserve. Corey Kiner, he'll probably be on the PUP list, or they might just I think he reverted to the injured reserve list or whatnot. So he's not going to make the roster. Maybe down the line he will, but the one player that I think should make the roster, I don't think he's going to make the roster, and he'll go to the practice squad, as Jeff Wilson Jr. I want him to make the roster. I think he's done a great job, but I feel like the 49ers think they can release Jeff Wilson Jr. with the intent of bringing him back onto the 53 or to the practice squad. And I think Jordan James, the rookie, Jordan James makes the roster. Now, I know he has a broken finger. I don't know when he'll be back, but I think they don't want to put him on a PUP list because they have other guys that need to go on the PUP. I think they don't want to put him on, injured reserve because then they're really screwed. And I don't even know if they have enough spots to put him on injured reserve. And at the end of the day, if you waive him, that's a good player. He's a good young player. That's a lot of potential. Somebody else will snag up. So I think Jordan James will make the roster. And with McCaffrey, Garendo, and Brian Robinson, I think they feel okay for the depth they have until James is ready to come back from the broken finger. But I got Jordan James over Jeff Wilson Jr. I know it's controversial. I think Jeff Wilson Jr. has played so good in the preseason. And he's also, it was a flawless transition. He's a guy that he didn't need to learn the system. He's been in the system before. I think he'll be on the practice squad, though. That's what I have at running back. So, need Nepo Baby QB3. Kyle said in an interview last week he doesn't talk to Moody. Kyle Shanahan talked to Moody. He said he had a great preseason. What's up, 49ers 2025? 49ers 2025 says, you see Brian Robinson staying here long-term, knowing that Garendo has a problem staying healthy? I mean, maybe, but I know he wants to get paid after the season. That was one of the reasons Washington, let him go. They said, hey, go shine somewhere and go get paid. So it depends, really. I do think Garendo is going to be a guy that's going to be hit or miss because of the injuries. And you can maybe trade. You might be able to trade Garendo at some point, get some value out of him. And it also depends on Chris McCaffrey. What's his health going to be like? Although he did get the extension, last year. So I think it's possible they keep Brian Robinson. It's a rental for a year at least. And if they don't bring him back, you're going to get a draft pick out of him. I feel like the 49ers are going to let him go after the offseason. He'll go sign somewhere for some decent money. And the Niners will get a compensatory pick out of him. And it's like they never traded anything away. And I think that's the way they do it every year with a lot of players. So if I had to make a guess or a prediction, I'm going to say he won't be back with the Niners next year. But I think he'll have a great year with the 49ers. So thoughts on Kyle saying JJ should be back week 1. Let's go into wide receivers. Wide receivers here. And we're going to talk about that because Juwan Jennings, he's making the roster. Will he be ready for week 1? Kyle says he is. I guess last night he walked up to the team, the press, box where he was walking around the stadium with some popcorn. He posted the cryptic message on Instagram. I don't know what's going on with Juwan Jennings. I think he's going to be able to be ready. I know it's a calf injury. Will he be 100% effective? I think he'll be. I think he'll be fine. I think it's all contract related. End of the day, give me Juwan Jennings to make the trip out to Seattle week 1 and be ready to roll. I think he'll get paid by then, and everybody's going to be happy. And, I've been saying it all offseason. He's going to rub some money on that calf. Juwan Jennings is going to be ready. And at the end of the day, I think everything will be water under the bridge, and he'll be ready to rock and roll next to Ricky Pearsall. Those two guys are going to be nasty duo. They're going to need to be because Brandon Ayuk is going to start the season on the PUP list. Demarcus Robinson is going to be on the suspension list. So those two guys won't really count on the roster yet. The next receivers is going to be Jordan Watkins. I know he has an ankle sprain, the high ankle sprain, but I think he should be ready by week 1. And unfortunately, Jacob Cowing's going on the injury reserve list. That man can't stay healthy. My boy 49ers media probably crying. He probably fell to his knees at Walmart when he found out Jacob Cowing's going to be out for at least 6 weeks. This man hamstring is cooked more than a ham on Thanksgiving. It's bad. It's not good for Jacob Cowing, who really hasn't been able to prove himself with the 49ers. But he'll be on the injury reserve. And that means you got 2 more wide receivers making the roster. Sky Moore is making it because you can't trade for him and then cut him. It'd be crazy look. But also, I think he's going to be the return man. And I know a lot of people didn't like Sky Moore and his performance last night. But if you really think about it, he had 1 practice. It was a half a practice. He's still trying to get the vibe right. He's still trying to get the timing down right. He should have caught those 2 passes early on. But I think he's still just trying to figure things out with the team. He was trying to impress them. He was pressing really hard. Look at Nick Martin, his first week with the Niners, in preseason. He was hungry. He was pressing way too hard, and he made a lot of mistakes. I think Sky Moore will settle down, and I think he'll be better. But he's also going to be our return man. You're not expecting him to be a big receiver. You want him to be the return man because Junior Bergen fumbled. He fumbled. He did this. He fumbled his chances on the roster. This man's going on practice squad. Ain't nobody picking up Junior Bergeron. That man, oh my God, unbelievable. He was not good. He played in, was it Montana State against some weak competition in college. He made a lot of records. He looked good as a punt returner. But when you get against some real competition in the NFL, he looked like I was running returns for the Niners. It was not good. He will go onto the practice squad. Now, the last spot at wide receiver, is it going to be Robbie Chosen, Isaiah Hodgins, Tariq Owens, or Russell Gage Jr.? I have it as Russell Gage Jr. He's been pretty good through training camp, through the preseason. It's going to come down very close. I want Robbie Chosen to make it. I think he's done a really good job, but I do think Russell Gage gets the spot over Robbie Chosen, and Robbie Chosen will go to the practice squad. That's my prediction. I'm sticking to it. I really want to see Robbie on this roster. But if he goes to the practice squad, they could call him up, right, in a pinch if they need him. If Jordan Watkins is not ready, then call up Robbie Chosen. Same thing with Isaiah Hodgins. Those two guys will go onto the practice squad. Maybe Tariq Owens goes onto the practice squad too. And if you can't have Jordan Watkins, if you can't have, one of these guys, if Juwan Jennings can't play, God forbid, you can call up, Hodgins, Chosen, and go from there. But those are the 5 receivers that make the roster. Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Jordan Watkins, Russell Gage, and Sky Moore. That's who I have on my list. Let's take a look. Tight end. They usually go 4. I'm going to put them down as 3 because I think they're going to take an extra lineman. They need depth at lineman, but we're going to go to tight ends. Pretty simple. You got George Kittle. You got Luke Farrell. They brought him in to replace Charlie Warner, which they took 2 years to replace Luke Farrell. This is a guy that can block. They've been looking for that tight end that can block, and Luke Farrell's that guy. Now, the last spot comes down between Braden Willis and Jake Tongas. They've both been, decent. They weren't, great, but they've had their moments in training camp in the preseason. But I think Braden Willis has shown more improvement than Jake Tongas from last year, and I think Braden Willis has been more consistent. I'm going to go with Braden Willis to make the roster. Maybe Jake Tongas goes to practice squad. So I have Kittle, Luke Farrell, and Braden Willis as my 3 tight ends. Jake Tongas, he's going to the practice squad is my take. So take a look at some of your comments. Hey, Peter Parker says, Kittle and Slick Rick about to average 15 catches a game till week 6, probably. David says, Jacob becoming the new Danny Gray. All that hype, but can't stay healthy. It's sad but true. California Man says, I hope Jacob Cowan gets well. Of course. David says, it's just a game. One preseason game. Renee says, Raj, hopefully Kyle won't be calling plays this season. I forgot who calls plays. So Clay Kubiak is our offense coordinator. He's helped Kyle Shanahan. He's been calling some plays throughout the preseason. Maybe he'll get the calls during the season, but I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan is going to be having his hand in the play calling department this year. I can't see him giving all plays up to Clay Kubiak for the season, but you never know. Let's see. Jacob Cowing is done, says 49er throwback. He done. He gone. David says Sky Moore is healthy. He's the most healthy receiver they got. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Robbie Chosen is clutch. I hope he makes it over Russell. I just think Russell Gage, if you look at his overall training camp and preseason and everything put together, I think Robbie Chosen hasn't done as much as Russell Gage. But I agree with you. Robbie Chosen has had a great, time with the Niners in the preseason, and he's made big plays. And you can't hate on him. I give him a lot of respect because I was never a big Robbie Chosen fan, and you laugh. You see the picture, he looks like the dude from Don't Be a Menace, Marlon Wayans, and you're just, oh my God, this guy's a character. But he's changed his life around. He's really good, and he works his butt off. And those type of guys you really want in the locker room. And I think again he'll be on the practice squad. So let's move to offensive line. I did say 3 tight ends, so you can get 10 linemen. They need all the linemen they can get. They need depth. Ben Barch is already hurt. Is he going to come back? Yes, but is he going to get hurt again? Probably. Dominic Pooney, he's dealing with an injury. He should be back. But at the end of the day, they need the depth, all the depth they can get. Trent Williams, obviously. Jake Brendel, obviously. Dominic Pooney, obviously, he's making the roster. Ben Barch, making the roster. Colton McKivitz, making a roster. Those are your starting linemen. Now you need your backups. You got Spencer Burford. You got Connor Colby, the rookie guard. Those are your major backup tackle guard. I got Austin Pleasance making it, and then it's going to come down to Matt Hennessy, Nick Zakelj, and Drew Moss. If it's me, I'm going Matt Hennessy, and I'm taking Drew Moss. Nick Zakelj is not making the roster, in my prediction. I would take Drew Moss over Nick Zakelj, but I'm predicting Nick Zakelj is going to make it over Drew Moss on the actual 49ers roster because of roster politics, because Brock Purdy is not going to have his former roommate not make the roster and make it to the practice squad. I think roster politics is going to come in here, and Drew Moss is going to be relegated to the practice squad. And I'm going to be sick, man, because he deserves to be on the 53-man roster, not the practice squad. Nick Zakelj is making this 53 over Drew Moss. It should be the other way around. And me and Brock Lesnar, I called him last night, me and Brock Lesnar are going to go down to Levi Stadium. We're going to storm into Kyle's office, and we're going to break his neck. We're going to do the F5 spear combo. That's what's happening. Drew Moss should make the 53, but I'm predicting Nick Zakelj is going to make it over Drew Moss. So he's going to make it. He's going to. I know Nick Zakelj. Bro, are you kidding me? You think Brock Purdy's really going to sit there, the $53 million man, the franchise quarterback, you think he's going to sit there and let his former roommate not make the roster? He's going to sit there. He's probably in Kyle's office right now. You ever watched the movie Rudy? Have you guys watched the movie Rudy? This is what he did. He put this. Let's just pretend this is Nick Zakelj's jersey. He goes into Kyle's office. Hey, Kyle, I need to show. He's going to go to Kyle's office. He's going to put the jersey on his desk. And he says, this is for Zakelj. And then you know who else is going to come in? They're all going to follow his lead. And then they're going to take the jersey. This is George Kittle. George Kittle, this is for Zakelj. And it's just going to be everybody on the roster is going to come in and drop their roster, their jersey. They're dropping their jersey for basically saying, give them my roster spot. Give them my roster spot. That basically they're showing support and solidarity for Nick Zakelj. That's what's going to happen. And then they're going to be cheering, Zakelj, 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 just like Rudy. Nick Zakelj is going to get in a game, and it's going to be a legendary moment for them. That's what's going to happen. Nick Zakelj is making the roster over Drew Moss. I'm showing the Lance jersey. Yeah, I am. It was a prop. I had to use it for the prop. You know what I mean? So 49ers media says Nick cannot cut me in his contract. I would put that in mine. Let's get to the defensive line. You're going 9 deep. The Niners are going to they're going to make one tough decision, and I don't like it, but it's because it's hard to keep this guy on the roster. You'll probably make practice squad. You'll know when I tell you. So let's go right off the bat. You got Nick Bosa, obviously. You got Mykel Williams, obviously. He should be back to practice this week, according to Kyle Shanahan. We need him back. Bryce Huff, Alfred Collins, CJ West, Jordan Elliott. You got Kalia Davis. I think he played really good this preseason. And then you got Sam Okunyana. Those guys make it. And then the final defensive line spot, this is where it is. This is where it comes down to it. Who makes it, Evan Anderson or Sebastian Valdez? I'm going Sebastian Valdez making the 53-man roster over Evan Anderson. Last year, Evan Anderson was the undrafted rookie who really kind of showed some flashes, but I think they'll keep him on the practice squad this year. And Sebastian Valdez, the Hulk, number 55, he's going to make the roster over Evan Anderson. I love this guy, and I think he makes the roster. Robert Beal doesn't make it. He might go to practice squad. That guy is worthless pretty much. He had some decent flashes this time around, but just haven't seen enough from him. He'll be practice squad. But, yeah, I got Sebastian Valdez over Evan Anderson, and Evan Anderson will be a practice squad player. That's it. That's my picks. Jose, 49ers play so physical and it's fun to watch. Is probably why this team is always injured. What do you think? Yeah, we've talked about that before. The way the 49ers play, they're bullies. They play so aggressive, so physical, that it probably does get them hurt. I mean, football is a physical sport. You're going to get hurt playing it anyways. But when you play even harder than most people, yeah, 100%, you're going to get probably injured a little bit easier or at a higher rate. And I think that's a good take. And they practice pretty aggressively. So I think it makes sense. 100%. I agree. Shohei Ohtani just hit his 45th home run. They still hitting a lot of home runs in baseball now. Good for him. I don't watch it, but that reminds me of when I used to watch when they were on the juice. But back to the Niners. We're going to linebackers. The linebackers, this is a pretty good department here. Linebackers are great. The people that you cut, you're going to be able to put on your practice squad, and it's going to be a really good practice squad. I got 6 linebackers making the roster. I got fabulous Fred Warner. I got D Winters. I got Nick Martin, man. This guy has been impressive over the last 2 weeks. He's gotten better every week. Remember, first week, everybody was on his ass. They hating on him. And then he slowed it down. He figured it out. It's slowing down for him. He's going to get better and better. The guy's going to be a star. He's got stud written all over him. But Fred Warner, D Winters, Nick Martin. I got Tatum Bethune. I got Luke Gifford. They brought him in. He's a good special teams linebacker. They really need to improve that special teams this year, and that's what they brought him in for. And then the last linebacker on the team to make it is going to be Curtis Robinson. He sealed it last night with that pick 6. The man's a great story. He's their Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. He had an ACL tear last year in practice, but now he is back better than ever. He'll be a special teams linebacker. And I think that means Chaz Surratt and Jalen Graham will be practice squad linebackers. Those 2 guys are good too. They got a lot. Stone Blanton. Like, they have a lot of good linebackers. Stone Blanton, Chaz Surratt, and Jalen Graham. Really good players, but they're not good enough to make the 53. They'll be practice squad guys. Again, I got Fred Warner, D Winters, Luke Gifford, Nick Martin, Tatum Bethune, and Curtis Robinson. That's your linebacker core. And then we have cornerback. This is a little bit of a tough position because you just lost Jacob Robinson last night to a broken forearm. I think he'll go to the injured reserve. And when he gets back, they're going to want to put him on the practice squad. I really love Jacob Robinson. I think the Niners are really crushed that he broke his forearm because he was a good player. And then you had Trey Brown, who's on the injured reserve now. So you had 2 cornerbacks that are not going to play this year because of the injury. So you have De'Amon Lenore, Renardo Green, Upton Stout, Chase Lucas, man, was a dog in preseason. He's definitely making the roster. And then Dallas Flowers. They got him in the offseason. He played on the Colts. He was very promising. He was really good this offseason through training camp and preseason. I think Dallas Flowers earned a spot on this roster. And again, I'll rename them. Lenore, Renardo Green, Upton Stout, Chase Lucas, Dallas Flowers. Those are your cornerbacks. And I think, actually, you know what? No, I forgot. I forgot Darrell Luter Jr. Before he was on the roster bubble, and I didn't think he was going to make it because of Jacob Robinson. But now that Jacob Robinson broke his forearm, Darrell Luter Jr. will make this roster. He'll be your 6th cornerback. I totally forgot that Darrell Luter was one of those guys that was on the bubble. I didn't think he was going to make it before, but fortunately for him, Jacob Robinson's hurt, and I think that opened the door for Darrell Luter. I don't think Darrell Luter would have made it if Jacob Robinson wasn't injured. So, Media says, hope Chaz makes the practice squad. I think he is. I think he will. My man 49ers Media says the Warriors still haven't made a move. Oh, my God. Christine says, I can't wait and see our defense is going to be fire. I think the defense is going to be good. They played pretty well through the preseason. Robert Salah, man, a lot of energy. We know what he's going to do. He's going to be amazing for us. He's going to be amazing compared to Nick Sorensen, that's for sure. So April says, Chase Lucas. Guy's a lock. The guy was so good this season for preseason and training camp and everything. Good story, man. He was on the team last year on the practice squad, didn't play. He says he was tired of just sitting on the sidelines and not playing, and he worked his ass off, and he put in a lot of effort, and you see how much he's improved. Him and De'Amon Lenore went from enemies right after the NFC Championship game to real good friends. They're dogs on this team, and I like that, man. It shows Lenore's a good captain, a good leader, a good mentor, and then it shows that Lucas is a guy that's just hungry to get better, and they got a similar vibe. I remember that first preseason game, Chase Lucas was making plays all over the field against Denver, and Lenore was every time he was high. Like, you could tell. I was like, Lenore and him. I knew it. I was like, Lenore got a vibe with him. And then when that interview came, when he was on the press conference and he said that, I was like, I could tell. I knew they were vibing. I think I said it on live one night. I was like, dude, every time Chase Lucas was making a play, Lenore came out off the sidelines, was like hyping him up, dapping him up. Those 2 guys are dogs. So I love Chase. Good player. Those are the cornerbacks that I got making it. Safety, pretty simple. 4 safeties. Jason Pinnock, he was probably one of the more standout safeties throughout training camp preseason. He's going to blitz a lot. Robert Saleh likes him. I think he's definitely a starter. And then you got Marquise Siegel, the rookie gem. What a guy. He's a great open field tackler, unlike Jerry Brown. This kid is a game play. He's a game maker. He's a game changer, I should say. He's a really solid player. 5th-round pick. I love them, man. They traded away Jordan Mason, and they turned that draft pick into Marquise Siegel. He's going to be a starter on week 1. It's actually crazy. This young man, I mean, he was probably the one draft pick that nobody talked about. And then, boom, he's probably the one draft pick rookie that most people love now after seeing him play. He's been making plays. And when you compare him to the likes of Jair Brown, it's like, wow, this guy is pretty damn good. We got Malik Mustafa is going to be on the injured reserve. He'll be back, and they'll probably cut one of these guys down the line, which would be Saran Neal and Jair Brown. I wouldn't be surprised if they traded away Jair Brown at some point. Saran Neal makes the roster because he's taken over George Odom's super safety or special teams safety spot. Basically, George Odom was your special teams ace, and Saran Neal is the new special teams ace. So they brought in Saran Neal to replace George Odom. 100% he's making the roster. That means Richie Grant is not making the roster. They signed him this offseason, and I think he'll probably go to practice squad, but he's not making the 53-man roster. And Jair Brown, he might need to learn Chinese because he might not be on this roster for too long. I don't know, man. I just haven't seen much from him these last 2 years. It's unfortunate. I know he got injured, but he definitely looks stiff. He looks slow. Last night was not a pretty sight for him. And that first game against Denver, oh my God! When I understand, it was not the first game against Denver. It was the game against the Raiders when Brock Bowers. Oh my God! I mean, I get it. Brock Bowers is a beast, but that man made Jair Brown look silly. Made him look silly Willy. My man, California man, says Shiloh Sanders got waived. Maybe the 49ers can claim him off waivers. I mean, the reason why people want him is because he has the name Sanders, like Deion Sanders. Look, the Niners are a Nepo baby premium fan base. I made a post about it. Tariq Owens, Brendan Rice, they played against each other. They got Frank Gore Jr. when he was coming out of the draft. Niner fans were going crazy. Oh, my God, we need Frank Gore Jr. Oh, we need Brendan Rice. We need Tariq Owens. We need Shiloh Sanders, bro. If the Niners got all the sons of former 49er players, every Niner fan would be so happy. But just because they got the name doesn't mean they're good. He got ejected in the game, and he got cut off the team today. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but he's not going to make your 53-man roster. He's going to be on your practice squad. He's not better than Marquise Siegel. He's not better than Jason Pinnock. He's not better than Saran Neal, who's your special teams ace. And he might be better than Jair Brown, but probably not because Shiloh Sanders really hasn't played in the league. I would take Jair Brown over him because he's got a little bit more, experience, especially with the Niners, defensive scheme. I mean, I think Shiloh, I just think people want him because of the name. That's it. The tight end for the Bills provoked that. He did. Yes, indeed. He did. It was crazy. JR3 says Shiloh isn't good. He went undrafted and got cut for a reason. I agree. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but you said it. I watched him a lot last year at Colorado. I watched a lot of Colorado games. Everybody did, right? Because we all wanted to see Shador and Dion and Travis Hunter and all that stuff. Bro, Shiloh Sanders was getting slopped up. He was getting cooked up by receivers that I never even heard of in my life. He was getting wiped last year. If it wasn't for Travis Hunter, the Colorado defense would have been hanging on by a thread for most. I mean, they were. But when you threw it to Travis Hunter, right, he got an interception. And then so they threw it away on the other side, and it'd be a completion, right? So, or it would be a PBU if you threw it to Travis Hunter. But I tell you what, man, Shiloh Sanders, not that great. So those are your safeties that make the roster. Again, Malik Mustafa will probably start probably on the PUP, maybe not necessarily the IR, but probably the PUP list. And that brings us to specialists, the special teamers. You got the long snapper, John Weeks, who has not been choked out by a wide receiver. You got the punter, Thomas Morstead. Unbelievable. You got rid of the long snapper and the punter, but you kept the worst of them all, Jake Moody. God, man, last night was it was crazy. This man misses the extra point, and everybody was like sick. They were booing him, and then everybody's chanting his name, and then he makes every kick after that. It's like, does he have to miss a kick in order to make it? There's going to be more pressure every single week. Brant Boyer last week said that 59-yard game winner is going to change the course of his career. It's going to change his career. Oh, God, no, it didn't. And then it's crazy. Did you see there was a play yesterday? I rewatched the game on the broadcast because obviously I was at the game, so you missed a lot of stuff. There was the play. I think he kicked the ball out. It was a kickoff. He kicks the ball. It was Jeff Wilson scores a touchdown, so the Niners kick the ball off. This man kicks it out of bounds. Brent Boyer was like, what the fuck? And then Kyle Shanahan's face. Kyle Shanahan gave him a death stare. Did you see Kyle Shanahan? He was like, sick, bro. They were sick. Kyle Shanahan was so mad. Of course, he was like after the game, I feel like he's had a good preseason. You know he didn't want to. You know he's not happy. You know he's capping on that. When he says, oh, yeah, I feel like he's had a good preseason. Bro, he was so mad last night. When he kicked that out of bounds, I was like, so I rewatched it and I go, what are you doing? Like, I mean, obviously you see it at the game, but you rewatch it and you see it again. You see the reaction of Kyle. You're like, what the fuck is he doing? You can't kick a PAT. It's like, you don't know if he's going to make the field goal. And then now you're kicking the ball out of bounds. What are you good for? Oh, my God. Baby Radiance says, Kyle saying he played his best against the Raiders was crazy. Mr. Shador Sanders says, my brother got cut because of who our dad is. Look at what they're doing with me in Cleveland. Feel bad for you, Shador. I feel bad for you. Debbie says, rather have Raj than Jake. Renee says, Moody is the weakest link. Absolutely. Moody hit a cop on the kickoff. Did he really hit a cop, or are you joke? Did he hit a cop? And oh my God, Jake needs to go. I normally don't agree with Debo. He's right on this. Yeah, should have kept Joseph. Greg Joseph, he's available. And I'm telling you, I know for a fact, Kyle Shanahan has Greg Joseph. This is what's going to happen in a couple of weeks. Jake Moody's going to miss a kick, and Kyle Shanahan's going to say, Greg, we need you. I need you, man. I need you. Can you come to the Niners? Yeah, I'll pay you that. I'll give you that money. I know it's a lot for a kicker. Okay. All right. And then it's going to be, boom, breaking news. RSF 49ers, breaking news. Jake Moody has been released. Oh, my God. And then 2 minutes later, breaking news. The 49ers have signed kicker Greg Joseph to a one-year deal. I already can see it. It's going to happen. They got him on speed dial. They have Greg Joseph in the cut, waiting in the wings. And that's why they tested him out, to make sure if anything happens with Jake, he gone. They kept him. They try to build his confidence. They babied this man. They have babied Jake fucking Moody the whole offseason, whole training camp, preseason. They babied him. He's going to cost them. I already know he's going to cost them again. I hate to say it. I don't want to see that. I'm a Niner fan. I don't want to sit here and say he's going to cost. I just can see it happening. I can see it happening. We're going to be so pissed. And then, boom, breaking news. We got breaking news. We got breaking news. We got Greg Joseph sided with the Niners. I could already see it. I already do it. The dude has no confidence in him. MSQ says it's easier said than done. Moody is still him. MSQ is the biggest Jake Moody truther. I respect it. MSQ loves Jake Moody. Anytime I talk anything about him, talk bad about him, you're going to have his back. I hope you're right, MSQ. I really do. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope you're right. I don't want to be right in this situation. I'm not trying to be like an asshole. I don't hate the man, but I'm just sick and tired of I need roll. Like, it's like an experience watching him kick. It's just like you're on pins and needles. I can't have that experience. I can't have that every week. Robbie Gold was like, all right, we know he's going to make it. We don't have that feeling. We're like on the edge of our seats going, oh my God, is he going to make it? Oh, he made it. I had to post highlights of him making it because it was like, oh, look, he made the kick. You think I really like posting field goal highlights unless it's like a game winner? Did I even know who Greg Joseph was prior to the season? Yeah, because I watch NFL and I play fantasy sports. So I follow players. I follow along. I do. But you know what? If I was an average casual fan, MSQ, I probably wouldn't. I'm not going to lie to you. If I was just an average fan of the NFL, I wouldn't know who he is. But I play fantasy sports. I follow the teams. I have a sports page, right? I run a 49ers news blog, whatever the case is. But I follow other teams. Like, I'm well connected. I'm on social media almost all day. I follow the players, the teams. I may not know all the other teams like I do the Niners, but I do follow a lot. So I do know who Greg Joseph was, but I'm not going to lie to you. If I was just a casual fan, I probably would say no. But I agree. The man will cost us games. I agree, baby. I agree. 49ers media says, Roger just mad he lost a bet. I lost a bet to media that he was going to lose the starting job to Greg Joseph. Now, if Greg Joseph comes back and Jake Moody gets cut, do I get it? Do I also win? That's crazy. Jake Moody says, I still got ice in my veins. Oh my God, man. I don't know. Listen, man, I want Jake Moody to make every single kick. It's just, God, man, when I watch him kick, it's like, and I'm not the only one. I'm sure everybody gets like so stressed out, man. But last night, when he misses the PAT, it was like everybody in that stadium was like, oh God. People were not happy. And then he makes them. It's just one of those things, man. I want him to be successful. You want every player on this team to be successful, but it's just so much pressure. I feel like he can't deal with the pressure, and it's mounting every week. There's more and more and more pressure. So, but that's it. That's the 53-man roster. I went through every single position. I can't believe we did it that quick in less than 30 minutes. That was pretty good. Throwback says, I'm happy for Tariq Owens, like father, like son. Happy for the guy. That was a pretty cool moment, man. Not gonna lie. I mean, I see it was Nepo to Nepo touchdown, little Carter Bradley, little Tariq Owens, and I was like, oh shit, because I saw the play and I'm seeing it, and I was like, it's number 83. Is that Tariq? And I knew it was gonna go crazy. I was like, oh, this is gonna go viral on every sports page because everybody's gonna post Tariq Owens, Terrell Owens, Tariq Owens, like every Yahoo, Bleacher Report, my page, every page, CBS, everybody posted the same. Oh, T.O. and his son, with the slideshow. I knew it was going to happen. I was like, that's just the way it's going to go. You understand sports media works. You knew it was going to happen. Everybody posted it. It was cool. It was a great moment. And after the fact, Vic Tarfer from The Athletic, he tweeted out how Terrell Owens actually, Tariq Owens said that his dad was showing him his first touchdown in the NFL, and that he said it's time for him to get his first. Crazy. Before the game, Jerry Rice was talking with Tariq Owens before the game. They were practicing the routes. I want to say that was the same route he ran for the touchdown. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I think it was. I got to go back. But I posted the video. Like, if you're watching Jerry Rice, he's, like, showing him. He's, like, explaining some stuff. And then you see Tariq. He's like, oh, okay. And then he goes out there and he practiced the route. And then in the game, he goes and runs the route. And he scores a touchdown on it. I'm like, wow, Jerry Rice gave him the pointers to go score a touchdown. Like, that was fucking cool, man. And it was a great moment for him. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. And the other cool thing was it was Brendan Rice versus Tariq Owens. Two players that had their legendary fathers play for the Niners, right? You had Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice, and their sons were going up against each other as players on the opposite team. A generational bloodline, man. Good stuff. Think we traded for Robinson. We have the best running back room. I think it's definitely a top 5 running back room, top 3. CMC and Brian Robinson's, it's filthy. Lions got a great running back room too. Can't lie to you on that. Lions probably got if anybody's got a better one than us, maybe the Lions. That's a good running back room. But yeah, Niners running back room is phenomenal, man. If Isaac Randall could stay healthy, Jordan James showed a lot of promise. So T.O. texted his son after he scored a touchdown. I'm sure he did. Julia says, I swear yesterday was nostalgia day. Yeah, it was. It was cool. It was you saw like Harbaugh was there, Navarro Bowman, because their coach is on the Niners. Frank Gore was out there because he's a scout, team scout for the Niners. Patrick Willis is there. I feel like he's been helping the Niners a lot this year. I don't know if he got an official title, but he's been with a lot of things the Niners are doing this year on the games. He was there. Him and Bowman chopping it up was a pretty cool moment. You saw Harbaugh, Frank Gore, and Jim Harbaugh, Frank Gore, and Patrick Willis. Such a cool moment, man. Good stuff. It was definitely nostalgia day. Jerry Rice was there. I mean, wow. Cool stuff, man. Many men wish death upon Robinson and Pearsall. That's going to be crazy when they come out the tunnel together. Navarro Bowman likes what he sees in Nick Martin. It's good. That's good. That's good stuff, man. Navarro Bowman knows linebackers, man. He was so good, man. I wish Bowman didn't get hurt, man. God, his injuries really crushed me because he was such a good linebacker. He might have been more complete than Patrick Willis. I know he wasn't. I mean, obviously Patrick Willis's career, Hall of Fame career, but I feel like Bowman, if he stayed healthy, maybe he could have had a better career than Patrick Willis. Maybe. It's debatable because those two guys were amazing. But Bowman, man, he was something special, dude. He was so good. Great against the run. He was just explosive. He can rush. He could like get into the backfield, get the quarterback. Remember, he'd get a lot of opportune sacks. He was good in pass coverage. We all remember the pick at the stick. I mean, that was right off of Tremaine Brock's hands. He snagged it in the air. It'd be great IQ, and he just ran down the field. He was super athlete. The guy was a monster, man. Monster. He, was so good. So it sucked when he got hurt, man. I'll never forget those times, especially when Seattle. I mean, that game against Seattle. I'm never gonna forget it. Those fans throwing popcorn at him. Oh, I'm so pissed. Was Joe Montana there? I don't think he was. I don't remember seeing him there. I know Jerry Rice was there, but we got my boy Jerry Rice's video viral of him missing the catch during warmups, and everybody says Sky Moore must have rubbed off on him. Ivy, that was fun. This man Jerry Rice running the little go route. I mean, you got to realize how impressive that was for a 62-year-old guy to run like he was still running like probably a 4.8 speed. I don't know. He had the speed, threw it to him, hands. He had it in the hands and he dropped it. I was like, oh, Jerry Rice. And I was like, yeah, we posting this one. It's going pretty big. I already knew it was going to go big. But Bleacher Report, they hit me up last night. They were like, hey, can we post this? Is this your video? I was like, sure, go ahead. They're like, we'll credit you. I was like, yeah, go for it. Bleacher Report. And then CBS Sports hit me up. And then I think House of Highlights, they also said they were going to. Bleacher Report and House of Highlights are the same. But, yeah, they both messaged me. They said, we're going to post your video. I was like, go for it. And I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, shit, this is super crazy. So, yeah, Big Brick says, Bowman recovering that fumble at the goal line when his leg broke in half was gruesome. And it's a shame they didn't give him the recovery. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to talk about that game, that play, that whole incident. And then you had the Seahawk fans throwing popcorn as he's getting carted off. That was the worst series. That whole sequence, probably one of the most. That was probably one of the worst sequences of football I ever watched in my life. Because the Niners should have recovered, and then his knee snapped, and then he gets carted off, and you're just sitting there going, "Bro, our best player on defense just ripped his knee apart," and then the fans are throwing shit at him. Disrespectful. That whole sequence was terrible, man. Ugh. Christine says, I don't care what anybody says. Rice still has it in him. He just got to get some stickum. He just got to work on his hands a little. He needs to go and catch some more bricks. He hasn't been doing that. Obviously, he's retired. Give him a week in the lab. He'll catch it next time. But, I mean, he still had decent speed. I was like, okay. Ricky. Yeah. Debbie says, what's your prediction for the 53-man roster? Do you still think we win 10 games? Yeah, it hasn't changed. It's still 10 games. That's my prediction. I'm going to stick with it. I don't want to change it. I still think it's going to be 10 wins. I hope it's more, and I hope we can make the playoffs. But I'm going to stick with 10. I mean, the injuries have been pretty crazy right now. So hopefully they can weather through it, and they don't get any major injuries. But we'll see. Football's tough. It's a tough sport, and injuries definitely happen. So 49ers media says, sign Jerry with all these injuries. They might have to. Throwback says, Kyle seems happy with Sky Moore and Brian Robinson. Oh, yeah, he's thrilled about Brian. We all, we heard what he said yesterday, that he's the clear-cut running back too, And then he definitely was happy about Sky Moore. I know a lot of the fans weren't, but, I think he was impressed. I mean, you got to realize, and Kyle was right, he really had 1 day of practice. And it wasn't even a full day. He had a half of practice. He comes in, he had to take his physical. He's trying to figure out the playbook and the roster and, the installments. And he's just trying to figure out how to fit into this team, working on his timing and chemistry. So I don't think we can write him off just yet, And I think he's going to be a return man more so. So, I'm not too worried about Sky Moore's preseason debut. And it could have been better for sure, but people were ready to write him. Oh, people were yelling at me in the comments yesterday. Oh, shit. Okay. So Throwback says, just like Debo, Sky Moore needed a fresh start. Yeah. That's it. They just need, sometimes you just need a fresh start. I hope Sky Moore can resurrect his career with the Niners. I really do. But anyways, that's it. 53-man roster. We'll see how many I get right. We'll see how many get wrong. Tomorrow, they'll probably start cutting some people. By Tuesday, be a lot more cuts, and we'll know the full 53-man roster by Tuesday at 1 p.m. Wow, I can't wait. As always, go Niners. We'll be back. If there's any news, we got to say it. We will be back. If there's any big news, you know I say it because big news happens when I say that. Anyways, y'all have a great day. Don't have to get out of here. You don't have to go home, but you have to get the heck out of here. Peace.